Hi guys, welcome to Signal Path. Today we are talking about the Gas Giant from Pigtronix. The Gas Giant is a muff-adjacent fuzz with a couple of toggles that take familiar fuzz into brand new territories. The first toggle being kind of a bump or scoop switch that allows you to create sort of a bolder, bigger mid-range, or keep it this kind of traditional scooped muff sound. And also a gate toggle, which allows you to create something that is sort of halfway between this like Velcro-y, sort of almost like dying voltage fuzz with the kind of gate, or leave it wide open for more traditional fuzz sounds. I'm very, very excited to be talking about this today because whether it is, you know, the Cosmosis 1 or Gas Giant in this new form factor, or kind of the mini pedals and their really, really clever designs that they've released over the last several years. The thing that I can really say generally about Pigtronix is that they pack a ton of features and just a great level of quality of life into a very, very compact space. It gives you a ton of different tonal options and a ton of different sounds, but in a package that feels very, very easy to use and doesn't capitalize on the space of your pedal board. It is something that sort of fits in and gives you a ton of flexibility for a very, very kind of compact overall enclosure. So we're going to dive into the sounds, but before we do that, if you like this kind of content, it would mean a ton to me if you would go ahead and like this video, which lets YouTube know to recommend this kind of content in the future, and subscribe to the channel to follow along. But let's dive into it. All right, let's dig into the sounds of the Gas Giant. I'm playing my Balaguer Ambient Espada into the Quad Cortex and the Panther Preamps. It sounds like this. And here's the Gas Giant. Let's work through this piece by piece. Obviously at the top we have volume, tone, and gain. That's going to be our kind of standard set of typical big muff / fuzz 3 knob drive kind of controls. Will be quite familiar, but in addition we have bump and scoop. The left is going to be a little bit more pushed, the right is going to be a little bit more scooped, has a lot of clarity, and the right side is going to be open or gated. Let's quickly kind of explore those. I'm going to drop volume back just a hair, but first while we're on the scoop side, sounds like this. Quite bright. It's got some boom in the low end that feels kind of nice and big, but if we flip the toggle here, just feels huge, and it kind of has that like almost like on the bump setting, almost that like kind of like wind coming off the cab feeling to it, even though we're playing direct. Crazy. And if we kind of bring the tone down, the difference kind of jumps out even more. So it really kind of changes where the emphasis is, but I think for dark sounds or anything that like kind of needs like the limelight of like lead guitar, the bump mode really is helpful. get into some situations where I think scoop is really, really nice on lead, but that's kind of what the bump and scoop setting do. Let's leave it on scoop for a second and take a look at our open and gated mode. We've been in open so far, but if we move this to gated, things get a tiny bit quieter, but you can see the LED now change color when the gate kind of engages. Overall, the gate's not that aggressive. But what it does let me do, if I kind of bring the gain and the tone up again a little bit, it lets me kind of do... kind of crazy. Kind of nice for, yeah, just getting things to kind of chop off, and on the bump mode, it's just kind of nice, and you don't always think about this, but having that gate there really does make things hit harder if you're like trying to make the riff like really pop out. It does sort of like increase your signal to noise of kind of what the riff is doing versus just kind of the noise in the background. So shoegazers rejoice with the open setting, but if you're trying to kind of do riff rock things, the gated mode really, really works well. But yeah, coming back to sort of our normal controls, this thing has a massive gain range. And one of my favorite sounds is this kind of like almost bordering on low gain kind of drive. You can kind of throw like a chorus from the Mobius on top of this. Really, really cool. Like I love that kind of sound. Like it feels like grunge adjacent to me, and I'm never going to be mad at that. But the mid-range is kind of where I live for sure. And what I love about this thing is its ability to create just kind of one massive texture. Maxed out, it just gets a little bit crazier. When the gain's maxed out like that, it like almost feels like there's like a side chain engaged when you kind of hit a chord. It really does kind of go crazy. Super fun. Back to the bump mode. And the tone knob goes all the way up. So if we, try both modes with kind of the tone maxed. But if we leave this in scoop and bring the tone down and also kind of bring some pretty liberal reverb, this has kind of one of my favorite like atmospheric lead sounds that I've heard in kind of quite a while. Bring in the bump mode. Got that like kind of big, kind of like Velcro-y thing. If we bring the gain even higher and bring on the gated mode. So that's the Gas Giant. If you like muffs and you want to kind of get one that has a number of different looks with a couple of really neat features for a fuzz to have, this is a great one to check out, as is all of the Pigtronix stuff if you're like me and enjoy kind of that thoughtful feature design behind the pedals that you use. But that's about it for today. So thank you so much for checking it out. We'll catch you on the next one.